So thank you. I'm the last speaker, so keep up. It's going to be cool. I hope you will like it. My name is Benedikt Ramsauer. I'm an EPFL, former EPFL student in mathematics. So I'm more in the technical ground. So I'm using to code. So I usually code and do data science. Now I'm a data scientist, a co-founder at Swiss SDI. I will talk a bit more about that. Yes, I'm here to share with you some points of our business data science canvas. It's something that we have developed at Swiss SDI when we have met with many companies, and I will talk about that. The undertitle is A Journey into the Creation of Data Science Projects through the arising question of human and AI interactions. So it's a whole project, and I hope you will like it. So first, for my first slide, I would like to present you in a few words the context in which I usually talk about artificial intelligence. So with Swiss ITI, it's been 3 years that we are meeting with Swiss companies, multiple Swiss companies from the the industry sector, the energy, transportation, and we have the chance of meeting with CEOs, R&D managers, and field experts. So a whole range of multiple persons who are leaders and have different aspects. And our role there is to advise them, design and lead data science project. But the first thing we have to do and the first thing what we have observed that there are many misconceptions about what AI represents and what it really can do. And it's something that I think has already been said today. But the first thing that we have to do is to destroy the myth, and I hope I will not break anyone's hearts by saying that AI is not magical. It's only a tool, and and I can quote Jeffrey Brown this morning. I don't know if you heard the talk. It's the guy from Swiss Re that says that people are not very clear on what AI is, and there is a lot of confusion between the technical people and the deciders on what AI really is. So the first thing we do usually when we go see a client, we have to explain to them what AI is. AI is just, you have a bunch of data, you have mathematical models and computer models that go into the data, find patterns, and then either reproduce the data, the historical, if you have a new data, you find a historical pattern, or extrapolate for unknown situation. And in a sense, it's just only mechanics. It has strengths. It allows you to find complex and specific patterns. It's very efficient to produce results. And it allows a certain degree of generalization, but it has also weaknesses. It's usually designed for a unique task. It's highly dependent on the input data, and it is very complex to explain this extrapolation part and the decision-making part. So once we explain that AI is not magical and what all that, we can start by explaining and starting to work and to design an AI project. And during our multiple meetings, we have seen a few requirements that were coming in. First of all, that people were requiring a tool to structure the creation of data science project. It's a medium that needs to be understood by the decision makers. It also needs to be a bridge between the technical and the business teams. So our solution is to provide you with business data science canvas. Obviously, maybe you know it's a work inspired by the business model Canva from Oswalder and Pinier. And you have the central part where you have the problematic and the business advantages, which are the core elements when you want to design a data science project. On the left part, you have the whole data and the technical part where you have the AI solutions you want to provide. I will talk a bit more on the success criteria afterwards. You have also all the data that you have and you want to collect. Down on the left, on the right, you have the constraints and the cost structure. It's for you to be able to keep your feet on the ground when you're designing such a project. And on the right part, you have all what is related to humans. And I think it's very interesting because there are other canvas that you can find on the web, but it's very oriented usually to the technical part. And here we want to integrate the human and AI interactions. So for the rest of my talk, I will focus on 3 points there, the key actors, and asking the question, will AI help us to be more human at the workplace, which was one of the questions which was written on the track page. The second part, I will talk about the success criteria and answering the question, what is AI's goal and what type of critical thinking skills do we need at this point? And finally, I will talk about the users, use and integration, and answering the question, how can we think about the human and AI interaction at the workplace? So starting with the key actors, and I was very happy to see that this morning Claudius Musat from Swisscom also talked about that, and saying that we need to bring down the silos, the silo walls between in the companies. And actually, it's what we want you here to understand is that as a data scientist, when you come into a company, your role is to work with data, transform data, and make value from data. But actually, you don't understand a thing what's going on in the company at the first place. So you need other people to help you and to create a project that has meaning, in the sense that you need field experts that know how on the ground and on the field everything goes. You need a business team, and you need the IT department here. And in this sense, by bringing down all the silo walls in the project, in the development of the AI tools, actually it brings together, it brings people together. And I think you require there really strong communication skills between the various sectors to be able to construct something pertinent, and you need to a unification of your needs. Pascal Ströding also talked about that before, where it was one of the main points. He said we needed to learn the language of everyone, understanding what the business wants, what the field experts want, what the IT department needs, and what the data scientists need also. So it's a way to gather people all together to be able to produce a great project. So that's for the part of the key actors. The second point I want to talk about is the success criteria. And there I will cite someone else just before that. But here it's very interesting. As I talked before, an AI project is just the reunion or the meeting of two people or many people. But in this case, when you need to define a success criteria, you have to, the data scientist has to really understand what's going on and how to translate the words that were expressed by the business and the field expert as an objective for the AI tool to be. So, for example, I want my my machine not to break down and to understand when it's going to break. That is wonderful, but it's only words, and AI tools do not understand words. They just understand mathematics, and you need to transfer that as an optimization problem at the end, and you need to transform that in a mathematical solution. And thus, the AI goal, and the question was, what is AI goal? At the end, the goal of AI will be to reduce and to optimize these functions. And when you think about that, you have a bridge and you use information between the words you're using, the goal that you're stating in words, and the goal you're setting the machines to do in mathematics. So you have to be very careful and critical about how this translation is done. And the second part is that when you're optimizing your model, your AI tool, then it depends on the data and the input data that you're putting in it. So here you need to be critical about the tool that you are using, because maybe you have an idea of what it should do, but actually the transformation of in mathematics will not fit. And I think it's very interesting here because John Havens just before said, how can we think about the metrics we are integrating in the model, in the AI models? And I think it reflects here really a point, and we have to be careful here. And I think to allow the user to be critical, then we have to provide the user with the information that how the model will be behaving. And it's this third part, and how the human will interact with the AI tool. And here, what I want you to think is that the use of a given AI tool differs depending on the context and the user, in the sense that if you design an AI tool, at the end, you have a user that will use it, and you have to think about how will it use it, what are the information that he requires, and what is the variation and the uncertainty that he needs there to be able to work with it. I have a small example. It's the predictive maintenance example. For example, if you are predicting whether a machine is going to fail, the interaction that the customer service or the machine operator will have with your AI tool will not be the same. Whereas someone in the ground will need to be understanding why an error was raised. Someone in the customer service will just have to understand when it was raised and what kind of team you should send on the ground. So the degree of knowledge there on the decision process also varies in between, and you can have all the information here. We have also the part where you have the integration, and obviously your tool will not be used the same when you have a dashboard on a full screen as when you have just a phone at the end. I just want to do a little digression here, because I think one very important part of when you are designing an AI algorithm is for human to be able to understand what are the limitations of the AI tool. We talked about, for example, for the HR for the HR requirement, then you need to be honest to be able to work with someone and understand its weaknesses. So I think it's very important that AI tools give this opportunity to the user to interact with it and to get answer on how it works. And I think, at least in the industry, it's a great topic that needs to be developed. I will just make a digression here. Our friends from ethics are going to talk about algorithmic bias, which is really related, and the question about ethics. It's in tomorrow's track, and the AI and trust track, and our friend Lars will be talking there, so I hope to see you there. My take-home message are these 3 points. AI is not magic, it's a tool. The business data science Canva really can help you englobe all aspects of a project, an AI project, in the design, and especially, and since we are talking about leadership, in the human and AI interaction, where you have to think about that at the very beginning of your project. Thank you for the attention. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, I'm here. Well, thank you.